Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. What an absolutely wild episode of House of the Dragon. If your brain is currently melted by everything that just went down in Season 3, Episode 7, trust me, you are not alone. We need to talk about it, because from massive dragon betrayals to wild visions and a whole dead dragon coming back to life, the board for the Dance of the Dragons has officially been flipped upside down. So grab a drink, hit that subscribe button, and let's break down that ending and what it all actually means.
When I was a girl, I wanted to fly.
Helena's dreams are getting even stranger. Let's start with the most mysterious part of the episode, Haelena. The episode opens with another one of her prophetic dreams, and just like always, nothing is straightforward. She walks through the Red Keep toward a horse-drawn carriage waiting outside. Everything is dark until the castle doors suddenly swing open, flooding the hallway with light. But before we can see what's beyond those doors, she wakes up. That image immediately feels symbolic. It's almost as if Haelena is standing between two worlds. One she understands, and another she can only glimpse through her visions. When Rhaenyra visits her, the conversation quickly shifts toward dragons. Rhaenyra asks whether Aemond ever wanted Haelena to ride Dreamfyre into battle beside him, and Haelena quietly admits that he did, but she refused. She explains that when she was younger, she dreamed of flying, just like every other Targaryen child. However, as she grew older, everything became too overwhelming. The pressure, the responsibilities, and perhaps even the burden of seeing pieces of the future. Eventually, she stopped riding altogether. Interestingly, that's exactly what Viserys did. Even though he was king and a dragon rider, he eventually gave up flying as well. The conversation then becomes surprisingly philosophical. Rhaenyra insists she's only keeping dragons as a way to end the war and protect her claim. But let's be honest, that's like saying you're storing nuclear weapons purely for peace. Even if you never intend to use them, their existence changes everyone's behavior. Haelena doesn't really argue with her. She doesn't need to. Her silence carries more weight than any speech could. Eventually, Rhaenyra asks the question she's truly interested in. Has Haelena dreamed about Daemon, the Winter Wolves, Tumbleton, or even Rhaenyra winning the war? Instead of giving the answer Rhaenyra wants, Haelena simply says she's seen a gray mare. That tiny response completely unravels Rhaenyra. In a moment of frustration, she grabs Haelena before realizing she's gone too far. It's a brief scene, but it tells us something important. Even Rhaenyra, who has tried so hard to appear calm and controlled, is beginning to let fear and desperation take over. What do Helena's visions actually mean? Later in the episode, Haelena experiences another series of haunting visions, and they may be some of the most important prophecy scenes we've seen so far. She dreams of giving birth, only to have her child taken away before she can even hold them. Then she sees herself riding Dreamfyre and commanding the dragon to burn her enemies, something she's never wanted to do in real life. After that, the dream shifts completely. She finds herself peacefully sitting in a beautiful garden with Jaehaerys, Jaehaera, her beloved chickens, and the mysterious gray mare. Then everything changes. A solar eclipse covers the sky, snow begins falling, and a thick fog slowly swallows the entire landscape. None of these images feel random. Throughout history, eclipses have symbolized death, endings, or massive change. The snowfall immediately brings the long night to mind, while the stolen child may represent another devastating tragedy waiting for House Targaryen. As for Haelena riding Dreamfyre, maybe that's not meant to be taken literally. Perhaps it's symbolic, or perhaps she's witnessing another possible future. Whatever the explanation may be, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Haelena understands far more about what's coming than anyone else around her. The messy drama at Harrenhal. Meanwhile, over at Harrenhal, things somehow become even stranger. Aemond is still recovering when someone enters his room. At first glance, it looks like Alicent has arrived, but it's actually Alys Rivers using another illusion to manipulate him. This time, however, Aemond recognizes the trick before it's too late. Ironically, only moments later, the real Alicent actually arrives at Harrenhal. Because of everything Alys has done to his mind, Aemond genuinely struggles to determine whether she's real or simply another illusion. Then comes one of the coldest moments of the episode. Adrian safely escorts Alicent to Harrenhal. Aemond thanks him for his loyalty, and immediately kills him. The reason is brutally simple. Adrian knows Aemond is alive and hiding at Harrenhal, and Aemond no longer leaves loose ends behind. The dinner scene between Aemond, Alicent, and Alys is incredibly uncomfortable. Nobody fully trusts anyone else. Alicent quickly realizes Alys is much more dangerous than she first appeared, while Alys believes Alicent herself represents the greatest threat. It's almost like two master chess players quietly trying to outmaneuver each other, while Aemond believes he's the one controlling the board. In reality, he may be the one being manipulated the most. Later that night, Alicent secretly serves Aemond heavily spiced wine. As the alcohol takes effect, Aemond becomes increasingly vulnerable until he finally collapses in front of Alys. Alicent wastes no time. She quietly escapes Harrenhal, leaving behind both Aemond and Alys, proving once again that survival has always been her greatest strength. The Sheepstealer Showdown. Elsewhere, Daemon returns to the Vale searching for Rhaena. Lady Jane informs him that Rhaena has been openly flying Sheepstealer while searching for Vhagar, an incredibly dangerous decision that's already attracting unwanted attention throughout the region. When Daemon finally catches up to her, Rhaena admits the heartbreaking truth. She wasn't simply chasing glory. She genuinely believed killing Vhagar would somehow make up for Jace's death. It's survivor's guilt driving every decision she's making. Surprisingly, Daemon doesn't respond with anger. Instead, perhaps for the first time in years, he behaves like an actual father. He admits he failed Rhaena, and rather than ordering her around, he offers to help her. It's one of the most emotionally mature moments we've ever seen from Daemon. Unfortunately, before they can figure out what comes next, Rhaenyra arrives alongside Adam. She quickly realizes Daemon lied to protect Rhaena, and instead of immediately exploding with rage, she understands why he made that choice. That's a major change for Rhaenyra. Still, the emotional pressure is clearly becoming too much. She sends Daemon away, not because she hates him, but because she's afraid of what she might say if she stays any longer. Mysaria is quietly becoming the most influential person in King's Landing. One storyline that's incredibly easy to overlook is Mysaria's growing influence. She's no longer simply giving advice behind closed doors. She's actively shaping how Rhaenyra governs the kingdom. She even recruits Sylvie to gather information directly from the common people. But when Sylvie realizes Mysaria is quietly increasing her own influence rather than simply helping the queen, she's immediately removed from the Red Keep. Later, Rhaenyra confronts Mysaria over her growing distrust of Daemon. Instead of denying anything, Mysaria tells Rhaenyra exactly what she needs to hear, that she's worthy of ruling Westeros, and that victory is within reach. It's emotional reassurance at precisely the moment Rhaenyra feels most vulnerable. Then the episode delivers one of its biggest surprises. Their emotional conversation becomes deeply personal, and eventually turns romantic. Whether this relationship develops into genuine love, political dependence, or another form of manipulation remains unclear. But one thing is obvious. Mysaria now occupies a place in Rhaenyra's life that very few people ever have. Sunfyre's return changes everything. Now let's talk about the moment fans have been waiting for all season. Sunfyre is alive. Ever since the Battle of Rook's Rest, Aegon insisted his dragon had survived. Many people dismissed it as wishful thinking, but this episode proves he was right all along. While traveling toward Braavos, Aegon and Tyland encounter soldiers loyal to Rhaenyra. After spending so long running from his enemies, Aegon suddenly decides he's had enough. He turns around, declares himself the true king, and prepares to face overwhelming odds. Then, out of the darkness, Sunfyre appears. It's one of the most satisfying entrances of the season. Even more interesting is how Sunfyre's scars now resemble Aegon's own injuries. Dragon and Rider have both survived unimaginable pain, and now they stand together once again. This doesn't mean Aegon can immediately reclaim the Iron Throne, but with a living dragon beside him, people will once again believe that his cause has a chance. And that changes the political landscape in a huge way. Ulf makes his choice. Finally, we arrive at Tumbleton, where another dangerous betrayal quietly takes shape. Corlys remains imprisoned, and Ormond sends one of Corlys' severed fingers back to King's Landing as a horrifying message. It's psychological warfare designed to break the morale of Rhaenyra's supporters. But the bigger development involves Ulf. Ormond doesn't threaten him, he flatters him. He treats him with respect. He offers him greater rewards and promises him real power. That's exactly what Ulf has always wanted. Recognition, status, and the feeling that someone finally values him. By the end of their conversation, Ulf is completely won over. And that's terrifying, because when a dragon rider changes sides, it doesn't just affect one battle. it can reshape an entire war. This betrayal could become one of the defining moments of the Dance of the Dragons. Our nerdy thoughts. Episode 7 wasn't built around giant dragon battles or massive armies clashing across Westeros. Instead, it carefully repositioned every major player before the storm that's clearly coming. Helena's visions continue pointing toward devastating events in the future. Aemond sinks even deeper into Alys Rivers' web of manipulation. Daemon finally embraces his role as a father. Mysaria quietly becomes one of the most influential figures in King's Landing. Sunfyre's miraculous return gives Aegon new hope, and Ulf's betrayal could completely shift the balance of power before the next battle even begins. Everything now feels like the calm before the biggest storm of the season. The dragons are gathering, alliances are breaking, and every decision from this point forward could decide the fate of House Targaryen itself. So now I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think Helena's visions were really trying to tell us? Do you trust Mysaria's intentions? Or do you think she's manipulating Rhaenyra? And were you expecting Sunfyre to make such an incredible comeback? Let me know your theories down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more House of the Dragon explained content, and I'll see you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.